What's going on, everybody? It's Chad Sharp for our two reviews, and today we're talking about The Last Duel. The Last Duel, directed by Ridley Scott, is the French medieval music video for Rick Springfield's Jessie Girl. There's three main characters in this story. You have Jean de Crouge, played by Matt Damon. You have Jacques Legris, played by Adam Driver. And you have Lady Marguerite, played by Jodie Comer. Matt Damon and Adam Driver's character are squires that went through war together. They were buddies, and things kind of went sour between their relationship. After years of them not really communicating, Matt Damon meets Jodie Comer's character, and they have an arranged marriage. And years later, they try to reconcile their friendship, and there's an attack from Jacques, Adam Driver's character, on Marguerite. She, instead of staying silent like many did in that time, she made a case about it, and that's the main story of what's going on. The actual story of the movie is only about 45 to 50 minutes long. And I know what you're thinking. Chad, this movie is 2.5 hours long. How is it only 45 to 50 minutes? But what this movie does that's really intelligent is it tells the story from all three of these people's perspectives. So it tells the same story, but in different views. And the point of views makes the story fairly different from each point of view. And you have some scenes that are the exact same thing is playing out, but the way things are said or who says different things or who does different things is completely different depending on whose point of view it is from. The fighting scenes in this movie are brutal, and they're very bloody, and they're very well directed. And honestly, I would love to see Ridley Scott do a medieval movie that is just a medieval war movie. But with this movie, it's very well acted. The story is fairly good. The fight scenes, again, are really good. And it's hard to go too deep into the story without getting into spoilers. So this review part will be a little shorter, but we'll have a little longer of a discussion of spoilers. So I'll say that I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. So now we're going to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, or if you haven't seen the movie, come back after you have. If you have seen it or don't care about spoilers, or you don't plan on seeing this movie, we're going to talk about the story of The Last Duel. So the main story is Matt Damon's character named Jean and Jacques. You start off the movie with them in a war, and they're looking across this river with these people that have hostages, and they're just cutting heads off, throwing heads around. It's bloody, it's brutal, and you get the sense that Matt Damon's character is kind of a loose cannon. He doesn't really follow orders. He just rushes in, kind of hopes for the best. So they're supposed to hold their position and hold this bridge, but instead Matt Damon goes rushing in, and Jacques, being his friend, decides to tell the rest of the battalion to come with, or he's going to die. So they all go rushing in. So when they tell the story from Matt Damon's perspective, it shows him save Jacques in this battle. But when they show it from Jacques' point of view, it's him that saves Jean. So it's very cool to see this in the story. But the only thing is when you see these different perspectives and different things are happening, they never really tell you who's the actual correct one. So you never really know who's the one that actually saved who in the story. And it kind of goes through that way throughout all of the three stories. It's hard to really tell what actually happened when you're seeing the point of view and the biased point of view of those people and the story that they tell. One of the more comical things of the whole story is when they show the relationship between Jean and Marguerite. Through Jean's eyes, he's very loving and very, very affectionate towards her. But in her point of view, he's just an abusive person and is always yelling at her and telling her to do things. So it's seeing the different viewpoints. It's very cool in the direction of the movie, but it gets confusing in certain parts when you don't know what's the real truth. But it comes down to an attack on Marguerite from Jacques. And the reason that Jacques and Jean end up not being friends anymore is because Pierre, who is the Count, played by Ben Affleck, takes a liking to Jacques, Adam Driver's character, and really kind of hates Matt Damon's character and does everything he can to kind of push him out and not allow him to do anything, and really takes a lot away from him. They took a land that was promised to him in his arranged marriage. His dad is the captain of Fort Belém, and instead of it going to him when his father passes away, he gives it to Jacques because that's his friend that he likes, and he doesn't like Jean. And it ends up being that they end up really hating each other. They try to reconcile things later, but when he ends up meeting Jean's wife for the first time, he kind of falls in love with her immediately. And he kind of becomes obsessed with her, and then it ends up being that he goes there, attacks her, and the rest of the movie is kind of a court case against the whole thing. There's not very many fight scenes in the whole movie, but the fight scenes are really cool. There's probably only like 3, and I think 2 of them are the same fight scene, just in different perspectives. But as the name of the movie suggests, it comes down to a last duel, because in the court case, since Pierre is against Jean, they really have the deck stacked against them, and it starts to seem like they are not going to win this case. He decides that he's going to let God decide, and he decides that it's going to be a duel, and then whoever wins is the person that was telling the truth. And then it ends with this whole big fight, which is really cool, really well scripted, and Jean, Matt Damon's character, ends up killing him, therefore proving her right. Overall, I like the movie. I think it's definitely a movie that you should see. The end fight scene, which I think this is one of those movies that the title kind of gives away some information that I think is a little bit of a spoiler. I think I would have liked going into this movie without knowing there was going to be a duel at the end of the movie. And there's a lot of movies that do that with the name of the movie, or in the trailers. They give away a lot more than what really should be. But knowing that there was going to be a last duel at the end of this movie kind of didn't make it a surprise when it happened. But the last fight scene is really cool, and I really like this movie. There are some things that I think could have added a little bit more detail into things, clear a little bit up. But overall, like I said, a 7 out of 10. Definitely check it out. And if you do, let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more. And I'll see you in the next review.